The word gamer is a term used to describe a person that plays video games. Now in this world, there are millions of gamers and this is becoming one of the biggest fandoms. Unfortunately, the majority of individuals that don't play video games observe gamers in a dark light, saying that they are social outcasts with no lives. Now these people just overreacting, or is what they are saying true? In this documentary, I'll find an answer as I go into the depths of the origins, community, social science, and many interviews. No details will be spared as we explore the series of events that led up to the gaming culture and come to the conclusion of it being acceptable in our society, which answers this question: should video games be accepted in society? Now, let's do this.
Well, I know that you're young, and I know you're naive, but you know that you got me sugar under your sleeve. But the way that you did me, and you're doing me still, I can't help but to wonder, is your love for me real?
Now, before we answer the question, should video games be accepted in society? We need a clear understanding of what video games are and how they started out. So grab a seat, this is going to be a long one. In 1958, the head of Cable and Lab's instrumentation division William Higginbotham introduced a very first video game called Tennis for Two, which is a 2D simulation of a tennis game. He realized how many science exhibits were not interactive at the time, so his aim was to change that by developing this simulation for people to play on. The game works with two players using separate controls on an analog computer using an oscilloscope for a screen. This video game started a chain of video games, which could only be played on super expensive supercomputers, until these two programmers, Nolan Bushnell and Ted Dabney, changed everything. In 1971, Nolan and Ted created the first arcade game called Computer Space, and in the game, you must move your spaceship to shoot as many of those UFOs as possible. The game was a fair success, so afterwards, Nolan and Ted then formed the first commercial gaming company called Atari. In 1972, Atari created Pong, and the game was a huge success. In fact, it was such a success that in 1975, Atari created a console dedicated to playing Pong. Throughout the success of Atari, there have been many huge successful video games, such as Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Tetris, and many other great titles. Unfortunately, in 1983, the gaming market crashed due to several unfortunate events in the gaming industry, which led to Atari losing $5 million. To make matters even worse, Atari was producing mediocre products such as the Atari 5200, Atari 7800, Lynx, and Jaguar. With all the failures and lack of success Atari was going through, it was clear that the great run for the company came to an end, which could only mean the end of the gaming industry, if it wasn't for the fresh gaming company, Nintendo. During the fall of Atari, Nintendo was producing very successful games. In 1984, they created the games Super Mario Bros. And Legend of Zelda. Then in 1989, they created the Game Boy, which is one of the first portable consoles. It is very clear that Nintendo was dominating the video game industry, and to this day they are still producing gaming products. As the success of Nintendo goes on, there has been a rise of two major video game corporations. Microsoft and Sony are two companies that sell electronic products, such as computers, televisions, and phones. Both of these companies saw the potential of the video game market due to the success Nintendo was going through. During the 2000s, Microsoft had released the gaming consoles Xbox in 2001 and Xbox 360 in 2005. Both of these consoles were a great success. For Sony, they had released the PlayStation 1 in 1994, the PlayStation 2 in 2000, and the PlayStation 3 in 2006. Sony had much greater success than Microsoft when it came to the gaming industry. In fact, the PlayStation 2 is currently the most sold console in the world. Today, both companies are advertising their most recent consoles, which are the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4.
Okay, let's do this. Okay.
So let's just start off with your name and grade.
My name is Yari Doherty.
I am Diego Costa, and my grade is 7th grade.
I am Martin Van Toff from grade 7.
My name is Max Levy, and I'm in 8th grade.
I just want a bit of back history first. So, like, what was the first time you were ever playing games?
Well, I was 4. I was baking something with my dad, and after that we played a game, and we usually did that on Saturdays, but it was really fun.
Okay, my first game was when I was a 4-year-old, and Mario Kart. I remember back then I used to play like 2 hours a day.
Which console was that?
And
Well, I don't really know for sure, but I think I actually started playing when I was 3.5. And I started playing on PC. It was more of a puzzle game that actually came from a TV show. Yeah, that was pretty much the first video game I've ever played.
I've been playing games since I was like 8. My first system was the PS2, and there's this game I used to play called Ratchet and Clank. Very underrated game. I loved it. I played it almost every day, and I completed the game about more at least than 10 times or something. It was great.
Okay. Last question I'll ask you. Where did the idea of this tournament in the school come from?
Well, I like competitive games. I watch them. I really enjoy just watching them, rooting for a team and, seeing them lose. That's my favorite hobby. No, actually it is. It's pretty fun. It's like watching a sport.
Okay. Before the tournament ever happened, did you believe it was going to be a success?
I did not think it was going to be a success. It was actually my third or fourth plan to do my personal project, and I must say I'm quite happy how it turned out. So yes, I didn't think it was going to be a success, but it was. So
How does it feel to set up the equipment?
it's pretty boring. Pretty same. I mean, it's the same routine every time. So yes.
You're setting up a video game tournament, like the first ever time.
Oh, the first ever time, it was pretty exciting. I didn't know if everything was gonna work, but it did, and yeah, I was pretty excited. The first time, the second time was pretty boring.
Were you excited when you first heard about this tournament?
Yes, I was very excited about this tournament because I'm a fan of games and I like to play games, and especially if it's Rocket League, which I think I'm pretty good at. And we actually won that tournament, so that is a good thing. We actually got the job done.
How does it feel to set up the equipment?
I don't feel anything, but it's always good to learn how to set up things. That is always great.
Yeah, that's good. How did it feel As video games evolve, they get upgraded in every way. From the graphics to the mechanics, everything changes. Video games are now completely different to what they were. They consist of a variety of categories. From graphics, to puzzle, to sports, to role-playing, to combat, to stealth. The list goes on and on. Some of these games are very welcoming and friendly, while others can be very competitive and hostile. Not only are there a lot of new ways to play them, but when it comes to graphics, you will notice the real change they went through. Many modern games contain amazing art and graphics such as The Last of Us, Fez, No Man's Sky, and Far Cry Primal. There's so much art to be explored in gaming, and it must be really incredible for all-time gamers to witness how games have developed throughout the years. Now there's a whole world of games, and each one is very different from another. or at least some of them are. As technology gets greater every day, video games tend to improve with it. It is unclear for when the video game genre will die out, but for now, it is strong, with thousands of video games produced. Okay, so what video games do you play on?
Play usually on PlayStation right nowadays, Call of Duty or Lego games, so those type of stuff.
And what type of games? I really like first-person shooters and Assassin's Creed.
I consider myself to play a large variety of games. I play a lot of FPSs like CSGO and Call of Duty normally. A lot of sports games like Rocket League and a lot of fighting games like Super Smash Bros. But those are not like the main games I play in my spare time.
Okay, good. Okay, one more. Okay. Noticing how most of the gamers in this tournament are very young, did you believe that things might get out of control?
Yes, I did believe things were gonna get out of control, and they did. I had to use some old techniques to calm them down, also known as let a teacher supervise them, so they didn't shout too much. I also threatened them with kicking them out of the tournament. So yeah, that's the way to do it.
In any point during the warm-up, did you want to participate in the tournament?
I did want to play, but I know this is schoolwork, so I just kept it professional.
She's falling too far with salt in her scars. Won't let it taste her tears. She's falling too far. The girl that I
How did it feel when you were always playing while you were surrounded by students that were desperate to win the tournament?
I think it feels good because it shows a competitive environment. There's always a competitive environment, and myself, I wanted to win it, and I wanted to win it badly. That was why I was tryharding.
Seeing all the teams and how they played, did you believe that you had a chance at winning?
At first, I didn't believe we had a chance of winning. I thought the other teams were really good. I thought they could beat us, but in the end, it didn't matter. We still beat them, and we beat them good.
Did you believe you had a good setup?
I think my setup was bad. I think I carried too much my partner. Yeah. And apart from that, I was working well on the defensive end, but the setup wasn't that good enough. If maybe I would have had a more defensive-minded partner, we would have won more than we did. Yeah.
Did you realize we were undefeated the entire thing?
I don't care.
Since video games are a huge phenomenon, a community has formed along with it. The gaming community has existed for a long time already, and it consistently keeps on growing rapidly. Gamers exist all over the globe, and they come in many forms. Most gamers are casual and only own a few games with their console. Others, however, are very passionate about what they love, and they show it off by going to meetups, conventions, stores, and of course, buying all the gamer gear.
Really?
Just like any other community, it can be very welcoming as long as you meet the right people, because there are already some that take what they love a little too seriously, which lead to negative reputations and gamer stereotypes. I'll mention this later on.
Really?
The video game community is just like any other community, except that this is one of the biggest of them all. In fact, the gaming community consists of other communities based on the video game or video game series, such as League of Legends, Dota 2, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Minecraft, Call of Duty. The list is almost endless. The video game community is way bigger than everyone thought it was, but could evil and darkness come from such a large community containing a variety of people? Could the video games have a negative impact on gamers? And are the stereotypes and reputations of gamers accurate? All these questions will be answered very shortly.
Really?
Now, why do you play?
Because it's enjoyable and you're like not yourself, you're someone else and you're like in a complete different world. You can do things usually people couldn't do in the normal world.
It's mostly for fun, and I really like being in those different worlds and getting to play in different situations.
I play it for entertainment because it's something that actually is enjoyable to me. That's pretty much the reason why I would like to play video games and why I actually play it.
Well, it's something. It's not like watching TV, because TV is something that you're forced to watch. You're forced to give a storyline, and you're not really included. But if you play big games with a storyline, you feel included. You feel like you're the character. You make the decisions, and like you're the boss. And whatever actions happen, that's who you are. Then games kind of show what kind of personality you have.
Yes, indeed, sir.
How much time have you invested in playing CSGO?
I invested way too much time of my life playing video games in general. However, CSGO, I've only devoted about 30 days of my life.
Are you proud of that?
It's not a question of being proud, it's just something that entertains me. And just like, maybe you like to do homework, I like to play video games. Same thing.
In the game, did you have any digital items that had great value?
Yes, I did indeed. I started with $40, and I ended up trading it up to an item that is valued about $169.
How did you get those items?
I got the knife that I got, it was about $40, was purchased with my dad's credit card. Okay, so basically what I did was I got an item that was about $40, and I started trading it. And by trading, I mean like trading with other players for items with greater value. It's not an easy task, however, I managed to do it because I can convince people to do what I want.
Did you lose any of those items?
Yes, in fact, all my inventory, my total amount of items in game was about $400, and I ended up losing it all due to a coin flip, a bet that I did a couple months back.
Explain how the bet works.
Okay, so basically how it works is there's a coin flip, it's 50-50, and you put an amount, like for example $50, and then you bet those $50, and whoever wins the coin flip gets your $50.
Do you see yourself making a lot of money in CSGO to give a lot of experience to the actual game and community?
I don't believe so, because now I'm moving more and more to like real life businesses, just like real estate. I'm buying a new house, I'm like gonna renew it and everything, so I don't think so. By the way, last thing I said is wrong, yeah.
Do you think that everyone would have a positive outlook on this tournament?
No. Some people are not very fond of the idea of a tournament, especially because it's video games and they think video games are really not good. But, that's what my project is about, trying to tell people that they could be good and they're good as a competition.
This is one of the Met's most controversial events ever hosted in the school. How does it feel to be responsible for the entire thing?
It feels pretty good. I can actually do something that I enjoy in school, not only stay here 8 hours, bored. I can actually do 2-hour thing that's kind of fun for me and kind of fun for other people. So yes, it feels exciting, nice.
People may not enjoy your personal project at all because it is based on playing video games in the school and doesn't relate to charity and supporting the community. What would you say to those people that you come around?
I would say they have their opinion, and that is not totally useless. I actually donated a total of $5 to the Metsu elective. Reason is I had to pay the winners the prize money, and also I have to pay some equipment. And I swear the only thing left was $5.
How does it feel to be a part of the very first gaming tournament in the school?
I think it feels good, making something different in the school, showing what gaming is, especially for people who judge us or gamers based on what they do or what they think we do. So, yeah.
Before you knew what the other teams were you going to believe you were going to win? If so, did you have any sort of training?
I first didn't believe we were going to win. I always said that, but we did some training, working on the chemistry, and I played myself Rocket League on the previous weekend, and I trained because I wanted to win those $15. It's that simple.
The video game community contains a diversity of people with different views and opinions. Some of these people can come across as very toxic and aggressive individuals. So is the gaming community a place full of hate and aggression? To be honest with you, there are a lot of people in the fandom that can come across as being very rude and hateful. But every single community in the world has an aggressive side. I'm not telling you that all communities are full of aggression, but there will always be people in a community where they take what they love too seriously, which may lead them to come across as hot-headed. The video game community obviously has gamers that are very aggressive, but there are so many wonderful people in the fandom that have not been noticed because they are quiet. It is clear how video games are very popular with people across the globe. However, could video games have a negative impact on the gamers themselves? The question is debatable, because how you play video games is what makes it healthy or unhealthy for you. What I mean by this is what video games you play and how much you play them impacts you. If you play about 8 hours of video games a day no matter what game it is, then you could develop a video game addiction. Video game addictions are currently common, where the gamer would feel rewarded by the video game which releases dopamine in the brain. By the release of dopamine, the player would want to keep on playing and playing to keep on releasing the dopamine. Video games could be very time consuming, so just imagine how much valuable time is wasted on just playing video games. Since gamers try to feel rewarded, they can sometimes end up being very upset and angry because of the games they play. Rages from video games could have an impact on the person's happiness and the gamer gear they own, since they might destroy it. Which is why it is very important for gamers to always be calm, because controllers don't appear from thin air.
No, 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 no!
Even with video game addictions being an issue among gamers, the addictions could lead up to great things. According to a TED Talk by Jay McGogney, if a gamer can accomplish an objective in a video game, then that person would feel inspired to accomplish objectives in real life. Video game addictions definitely do have a negative impact on the person, but may lead to something positive. Apart from video game addiction and how video games are time consuming, is there anything else positive or negative to say about them? Well, there are some positive benefits. According to students at the Met, video games are a great way to take a break because of how you escape reality and enter a world full of wonder and adventure. It is one of the best stress relievers for gamers. Not only does playing games help you relax, but there are also some games that can be very intense, fun, and strategic. For example, Counter-Strike Global Offensive is a very popular game, rising in the charts. It requires a lot of thinking, strategy, and concentration. Games like this help you with problem solving and thinking faster. There are plenty of education video games which also help you with those benefits as well, but they don't get much attention since they come across as very boring. The final question to answer is, are the stereotypes and reputations of gamers accurate? To answer this question, we need to know what they come across as, which are people who are fat, no-life losers. This is simply false. Like I mentioned, the gaming community is full of a variety of people, so it isn't right to judge them all when you haven't seen the full picture. If you had a bad experience with some gamers, then you shouldn't label everyone else. One bad impression from a community can make a person believe that sucks, when in reality it doesn't. It was just that you had a bad experience and everyone else shouldn't have to pay for it. In a nutshell, some gamers in the gaming community are accurate to the false stereotypes, but that doesn't mean that everyone else acts the same way. How much time do you invest playing video games each week?
4 to 3 hours.
About 6 hours. I play more on the weekends.
Well, each day at least I play 30 minutes because my mom thinks that I shouldn't be on the computer for too long.
About 11 hours per week. Playing games is just something I love to do a lot.
Do you always enjoy playing? Do you ever get angry or annoyed?
Only when I'm stuck in some part and I have to keep trying over and over. Otherwise, never.
No, I don't get angry or annoyed. And yes, I always do enjoy playing.
I always do enjoy playing, but sometimes I do get annoyed because sometimes it's because somebody keeps beating me at a game if I'm playing online, or if I'm stuck and I can't go anywhere and I get annoyed, and it's pretty much hard to actually get out of a situation like that for me.
Oh, I get angry all the time. I like to try to stay calm, but when I'm kind of in a frustrated mood, I scream a lot, and I almost broke my Xbox controller one time from throwing it down on the floor too much.
Do you think it is good for you to play?
Sometimes, but if you play too long, eventually you'll just get like really cranky, and it's not good for you because you'll not be like interacting with people outside or your friends that much.
Well, if I play controlled, like if I control the time that I'm playing 15, 30 minutes a day. In the weekends, I spend 1, 2 hours. And so, yes, because the hours that I play are mostly just to finish off the day. Okay, and my neighbor, which is on vacations in Colombia, he's at a Panamanian school. He spends like 4 hours a day playing video games. That is not good.
I think it is kind of good because it's something that you can enjoy if you actually like to play it. And that's what's actually most important to me because if you enjoy to play video games, then it's pretty much good to play video games.
Well, like anything, obviously excessively is bad, but just playing in general, I think it's good for you because, you know, it's something that makes you and makes into who you are. Like me, when my brother moved out of my house and went to college, he gave me his 360, which now I don't use anymore, but at the time I played so many games on it, and it changed to who I was now. And even though people think, oh, but games is kind of for loners, I actually met a lot of online people, and there's some pretty good friends I've known for almost over 2 years from there, and one I've met since I moved here. And yeah, it helps you socially, emotionally, and just, yeah, it's just a great way to make yourself who you are.
Almost finished. Seeing all the teams that signed up and the schedule that you have planned, were you worried that nothing was going to go as planned?
Honestly, I had about 3 plans if the first thing didn't work out. But it actually did work out. I was worried a lot, actually. I was worried something wasn't like a PlayStation wasn't gonna work or a TV wasn't really gonna work and everything was gonna delay. But that's exactly why I did the warm up and it worked out. So yeah.
Did you feel like you were ready to play in the tournament after the warm-up?
Yes, I felt that I was ready to play in the tournament in the warm up. Yes.
Were you slightly nervous about the beginning of the tournament?
Yes, I was. Of course, I saw some people with really good talents and with potential of beating us. So yeah, I was worried.
Did you think your partner was ready?
No, I don't think my partner was ready. He didn't even play Rocket League on that weekend. That was crucial for our team to succeed. Even though we got lucky and still won the tournament.
How did you feel about the first game against Smash Bros?
I felt great, but I know that they are not a good competition. They weren't a good competition. We won 15-1. That's not any obstacle. I thought we were playing like against no people because they couldn't even control their own cars.
How did you feel about the second game against FSU?
I think we had a good game. I think we beat them. And that was really good for us because I thought they were a good opposition. We only won by 1 goal, especially by a clutch movement by my teammate.
How did you feel about the quarterfinals game against Dominion?
I think we did great. I think that was one of our better games. We probably play against the best player on the tournament. Even though he had a teammate who didn't even know how to play, he still was the best player. So we overcome the best individual in Rocket League.
How did you feel about the semi-finals against Aerials for Life?
That was another great game. We had tough competition, and we showed them that we were capable of beating them. We played some good defense, and we waited for our chances on the offensive end.
In conclusion, should video games be accepted in society? The answer is yes. And to be honest with you, the answer is so obvious. However, it is an issue worth addressing. Millions of people believe that video games are just useless and unhealthy, when really, gaming has significant benefits. I understand that video games could be used for procrastination, but it all depends on how the gamers play their games. And the community has a wide range of members to grant newcomers. Communities make gaming a whole lot better. Don't let some negative people change your perspective on the entire group. Take some time to know the individuals in the community and judge them on your own actions and not the actions of others. Thank you. Alright, so final question. Would you recommend anyone to play games?
Yes, because they can be themselves. They don't have to feel weird or anything because they can feel free.
Yeah, I would actually have recommended my sister to play more video games, and she actually plays way more Wii U.
Well, it depends on their personality. They could play games if they want to. I recommend yes, but it depends also more on their personality. If they're more of the people that like to go outside, or if they're more of the insider person. So yeah, it depends on themselves if they want to play or not.
Yes, absolutely. Because it makes you feel like what I said before, it makes you feel like you're part of something. And if you're not like me and you play not like really competitive games, but you know, you're kind of a casual player, it relieves your stress and it lets you kind of be who you are. And games kind of let you choose what you want. You know, there's not like 3 different types of games and that's it. You know, there's a whole variety of games and what you choose is what you are and you associate yourself with that. So I believe everyone should have some type of gaming related personality with them.
Thank you for letting me interview you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you for joining me for this interview. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you for joining me on this interview.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining me on this interview. I really appreciate your time here.
Don't worry.
Alright. So before you played in the finals, did you think that you would ever make it that far?
No, I didn't. I didn't thought I was gonna make it that far. I thought we were gonna lose like second round to that best kid on the whole tournament, but we didn't, and I like that. We still won.
Right before the game started, you honestly believe that you're going to win the entire tournament?
No, I couldn't believe it. At first, I was really negative, and I didn't had hopes for anything. And I think that was crucial because I wasn't too cocky. Yes.
How does it feel to win the first ever competitive gaming tournament in the Metropolitan School?
It feels great, yeah, being the first kids to win the tournament, the first tournament on the Met, but I only care about the money. That's why I signed up. I'm gonna say that. Easy $15. Easiest of my life.
Do you think you deserve to win the tournament?
Yes, we did deserve to win the tournament. We won the final 6-0. Okay? How is that better? We wrecked them.
Were you proud of winning, or did you think that didn't matter as long as you got the money?
I think it didn't matter as long as I got the money, I gotta say. Usually, gamers, they don't say it, but they do it all because of the money. Especially professional players. They don't do it because they love, they just want to sound like good people and, you know, caring people, but they don't. They only care about the money. That's why in YouTube there's clickbaiting and all that, those things. This kid.
Okay, thank you for the interview. I really appreciate you spending your time here.
Thank you, woman.
After officially finishing your personal project, were you relieved?
Yes, I was relieved. I didn't expect to finish so early, actually. Some people haven't even, they're not even in like their planning stage. So that's pretty nice. I thought I was going to be one of the last ones, but it turned out I'm one of the first.
Would you do something not like this in the future for students to look forward to?
Yes, if everything goes right, I hope I can maybe use this activity to create an extracurricular or even an elective for the school. Of course, this will be less formal. It will be more of a charity service event. Of course, I'm going to partner up with some people to bring some underprivileged kids, or maybe help raise something by making another tournament that is more cost efficient. So yes, I will be making more if I can.
Thank you. So, the tournament has finally ended. The grand finalists were me and Juan Mateus in the Danny Boy GCT team. So what are your final words?
It went pretty well, and I think this was a good experience for my personal project, and I hope to maybe continue some kind of activity regarding the the playing of video games next year as an elective, and yeah, that's it. It went really good.
Let's get into the news.